I have to still dig a bit more on that, because some of the terms you've used there are things that people need to think about.
Absolutely.
And you talked about risk. And I've heard of terms like risk profile. People need to evaluate themselves to see their risk. And I've also heard you sometimes speak about that this risk changes with the ages of persons.
Yeah.
Do you want to help someone out there?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
So when it comes to our ages, we talk about life stage investing. Life stage investing, we basically look at people depend on their ages. So we look at the person between, let's say, after college. That is when you start earning. After college, you start earning. So we say 24, 25, that is your early career stage. You move all the way to mid-career. To around 45, you're entering your late stage of career. Now that stage is very critical. At the beginning, when you're at the early stage of your career, you don't have high income, most likely. But you have potential that if you perform very well, your incomes are gonna shoot. So the graph would be looking up. So it's a very nice stage to be at, but that's the time when you don't have a lot. So what do you need to do there is different from the person who is at the mid-career, where maybe they have topped, they're now a manager, a general manager, something, they have more income. So you realize that the person who is at early career, either they're forming a family, that's when they're getting married, that's when they're thinking about their first house, so they have more things that they need to do. So they most likely are going to be taking a bit of loans. So how would they invest? So we assess your income, we assess where you are at in your career, and we tell you, all right, for us to grow, we need first of all to take care of your emergencies, because you may have emergencies that will come and you don't have enough cash. So you need to really keep a good buffer of emergency fund. And at the same time, we will also ask you to take a mortgage. Just start thinking about a mortgage when you're younger, so that as your incomes rise and you get older, you can clear out your mortgage and you're becoming even more stable, because you're not going to be struggling with payment of, rent. Then you move to the mid-career guy who is in the 30s to 45 levels. They need to really scale up and speed up. They need insurance for their children. They need to scale up, for example, in terms of building buffers around high-yielding kind of investments. So we can recommend at this point, buy a high-yielding bond or buy some equities and things like that. Even the younger person will buy equities, but not the same amount. If a younger person is buying equities, I'll tell them, buy equities in your portfolio, maybe start at 30% or 40%. Then when you're mid, we'll take you all the way to 60% maybe equities or things like that. Ideally, we don't live in that idea. So the mid-career guy needs to be accelerating their wealth and making sure that they're building strong buffers for investment, even as they earn their high incomes. Then you get to the late stage and retirement, we need to be more conservative, because we are saying you're approaching the tail end of your career. Most likely now you'll move out of your nice corner office. We need to invest with a mindset that you want to replace your income when you're retired. So property, real estate, we might want, just before you exit the scene, we tell you, if you had properties, all plots and everything, can we turn them into cash? Because you need cash so that you still So every stage, different investment styles, but it really, really is particular to every individual, because we can start at different times.
As you normally put it, any investment has its own risks as well. And I'm sure for you, you're investing on behalf of very many other people.
Absolutely.
You have you're not, prone to not face the same headwinds like anybody else. I want to know from your end, because every single day you have so many lives that you're holding and investing for. What keeps you awake so that at least you can make a return for them? What are these challenges that you're facing and you have to constantly know that you need to navigate them, especially on the macro skills?
Thank you. And there's something that Warren Buffett said. That, actually, is it Warren Buffett or somebody else? It's Warren Buffett who said that, if you don't know, if you don't know the risk, then you need to be very careful how you're investing. You need to be knowing that your biggest problem is when you don't know the risk, what you're trying to navigate. I think what keeps a fund manager awake is the risks that we have to cross. You know, like you're on this side of the bank, the river bank, and you have to jump on this side, and there are crocodiles here, and you're telling people, I'll take you here, I'll give you a return, you know. And you make sure you don't fall into the crocodile, infested river. So that's what you need to manage, this part where you've got to jump guys to the other side. And you come to managers and the problem is heaven. So our work mainly as an investment manager is actually not to manage the returns, is to make sure that we manage the risks so capably that we do not aid you in a tragic situation, because nobody wants to end up in that tragedy. So how do we deal with risk? Well, there are many ways of dealing with risk. Obviously, you can avoid risk, and that means you'll never move anywhere. We don't always avoid risk, but we manage it. And we manage it in several strategies. One is making sure that we are diversified. So if, for example, you're coming into a portfolio, you'll find that we are diversified in terms of the asset classes. We are diversified in terms of the even the securities. So even like, let's say it is equities, we can say we are in the NSE, but are we diversified across all the different sectors that we have there? So that diversification, we can diversify also across geographies. We are not restricted to Kenya alone, so I can diversify across geographies. So I say, Kenya is my hub, but can I take some little money maybe to a developed market? And that gives me diversification. And I can diversify on currency. Maybe this currency is doing better, or I expect it to do better, or something like that. I diversify on currency. So geography, asset classes, and things like that, diversification. That reduces my risks and means that if one asset class is not performing, another one might be performing. So I get a balance. So I get really good balance. Maybe today money markets are earning lower, but equities are performing well. That balance becomes really nice. So I'm not yo-yoing too much. I'm very balanced. The other way of dealing with risk is obviously to do good research. If you don't deploy research, you'll only be reading what is in media. And we know media sometimes is not always 100% everything that you read is true. So we do a lot of research at the back end. We have tools that we're using to do our research, to validate. We visit companies to validate information, and then we build models that will try and predict the performance of these companies. Because again, in investment, you're investing in the future of these businesses, whether it is a share, whether it is a fixed income debt, things like that. So we employ many, strategies to help us decipher risk, and where we need to run away from the risk, we get out quickly. We see it early. We want to see risk early and get out of it. We want to also take calculated risk, not like speculative. We can't be speculative when we are managers. We are fundamentally driven managers.
I want to be very fair to you as the head of Absa Asset Management and ask you, what's your competitive advantage? I know it's a very straightforward question, but I want you to add a few things on it. One, because you're not unique and you've faced similar headwinds like any other fund managers, and even your customers as well. Inflation has hit them. We've had things that we've seen in the currency. We don't even know what's going down there. Interest rates have gone up as well. And I'm actually curious for you, because you're supposed to invest where your customers can get as much. When interest rates go up, definitely has an effect on what you're giving them as a return. So your competitive advantage and what you're dealing with, these particular specific areas maybe that I've mentioned.
So yes, so when you talk about market risks, those ones face everybody. All of us are facing the same inflation, the same high interest rate environment. Almost, those are macros that all of us face. But what makes a manager different is how they structure their portfolios. Because we are here to construct, rebalance, and research on our portfolios. So we do a lot of analysis. We've employed highly capable teams that will do the research so that we select the right assets, especially in distressed situations like where we are in. You need to select your securities very well. So we pride ourselves the fact that we have the people, the tools, and a big group that has African footprint and understands the African markets, so that when we combine that knowledge, we end up with a unique proposition for our clients, and we ensure that we avoid the pitfalls that could come when you are investing. So that's one unique proposition of our. Then the other thing is that we are able to bring bespoke solutions from other markets. Case in point, I think we are 2 in this country who are offering structured notes. These are not available in the local market, but you'll be able to buy structured notes that are benchmarked on the international indices and give you exceptional returns in times of volatility. So that's another good thing. And the third thing is, obviously, like I said, fund management has been a preserve for Nairobians. We are saying all our branches, we've trained, we've empowered. You can be able to sit down with somebody and give you a conversation around investments. That doesn't happen every day. That doesn't happen in every bank. So we are very proud to say our teams are well trained, they are available, and you can be able to get very good solutions from them. The same case with our RMs, and I think we've partnered with NSC on our relationship managers getting certifications, global certifications like CC, so that when they interact with our clients, they're interacting with from a point of vantage, then vantage in terms of knowledge, that they are knowledgeable enough, they can decipher what is happening in other markets and in the local markets and advise you without bias. So we do a lot. So that's our differentiator. Thank
you so much for your time, but I want to give you a last word to your customers who have already invested with you. What assurances you have of them, because we have seen a lot of what is happening around just the global economies and the macros and all that. And of course, to anyone who will be thinking, maybe I should consider joining in. So what is your last word to them?
All right, and great. To those who have already invested, and to those who are already Absa clients, because they are, I would say, when you go to your bank or when you meet your relationship manager, be sure to talk about investments. Don't restrict yourself to only banking. Let's expand the conversation. So my call to action is expand the conversations to investments, whether for your own, whether for your child, whether for your relative. That's for those who are Absa clients. Those who are already in the investment space. My word is, yes, we are going through turmoil. We are working very hard to make sure that we protect and we grow your wealth in a very fashionable way without taking excessive risk. And of course, trying to understand the market as it is evolving, because this is a live market where news is evolving every now and then, news that impact how we are investing, but we have the resource and the capability to do that. To those who are not investing with us, this is to tell you you're missing out and to welcome you on board, and reach us in any of our branches, or even drop us an email, and we'll be able to solution you. We know that we have a solution for each one of you, and I know that the future is brighter than it is. So our setbacks for today, they're our comebacks.
Wow. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for your time.
Most welcome.
Setbacks are also comebacks. So very optimistic. Elizabeth Irongo, head Absa Asset Management, saying, you know what, if you're not there, then you're missing out. That's it, right here on the Trudy Bell Show on Matters Wealth Management. I leave you now with the markets.